February 19th, 2025 was the date when I found gold in an unexpected place. I was digging through the stained clothing and retirement home smell of a local thrift store when something caught my eye, a two-piece suit. The suit looked modern with those skinny lapels and the color was the standard dark gray. Very common in thrift stores, you see suits like this all the time. My wallet probably would have been relieved until I took a closer look at the details. At first glance, this suit may look like one you've seen before with its gray shadow stripes. But here's the kicker. I was in a thrift store and this suit looked freshly ironed and the trousers had a pressed crease. It is unusual, but it does happen. Speaking of trousers, have you ever seen side tabs like this? Now we got something here. Clearly an older suit, but from what decade? I started looking around to find a tag and in the left inner pocket, there it is. Dated November 5th, 1966. Made by GGG Clothes for Yale, Genton. I feel it necessary to discuss the history of the two companies. If you are here only to see my analysis of the suit, there will be timestamps on the screen and in the description with the chapters to skip to. Quick note, before diving into the history of GGG Clothes, I thought the name must have been a typo, or I can't read. On that same thrift hunt, I found a jacket with just SSSSSS, so you could have seen how this influenced my thinking. Our story for GGG Clothes begins with Martin Greenfield. Greenfield was born on August 9th, 1928. During his upbringing as a teenager, he was displaced at Auschwitz during the Holocaust. While he was at Auschwitz, he accidentally ripped a guard's shirt and was beaten for it. He later stole, repaired, and wore it to keep him determined to survive till he was liberated in 1945. He would later write about this in his book, Measure of a Man, From Auschwitz Survivor to President's Tailor. In 1947, he arrived at East Williamsburg near Brooklyn to work as a floor boy for GGG Clothing at 19. His first major client was the then running presidential candidate General Eisenhower in the 1950s. Mr. Greenfield has had many amazing clients. Here's a list of them taken from his Wikipedia article. Notable ones include Barack Obama, Leonardo DiCaprio, Shaquille O'Neal, and the show Boardwalk Empire. Greenfield would buy out GGG Clothing in 1977, turning it into Martin Greenfield Clothers. They have a white label service that allows them to make clothes for other companies, which explains the previously mentioned GGG Clothes for Yale Genton. Sadly, Mr. Greenfield died last year on March 20th, 2024 at the age of 95. Over in West Springfield, no, not that Springfield with the Simpsons, Springfield, Massachusetts, with Salem and the witchcraft. This is the second part of this suit's history. The Berman family in 1922 opened the regional clothing store Yale Genton. They specialized in formal clothing with Martin R. Berman owning/operating it until 2008 with its closure. Previously I mentioned this suit is dated November 5th, 1966, the Twilight Eve before the Ivy style would fade away in 1967 and the Peacock Revolution would become the new mainstream style. How this style became popular, we must go back to the late 1940s. After the Second World War, returning soldiers had all this money from the GI Bill. Instead of getting an endless supply of beer and cigarettes, they went to college instead. According to the Education Data Initiative, an estimated 5,920,864 students were enrolled in a university in 1965. That's an increase of 153% from 1947. The source is in the description if you're interested in further exploring the data. Everyone wants to go to the best universities for their studies. Rich in history, the Ivy League is for the best minds in America. The Ivy League is not just well known for its academics, but also for its unique style too. A whole style genre, Ivy, came out as a result. The Ivy style deserves its own retrospective in the future. I will be simplifying it for its distinguished characteristics. The jacket is characterized by features such as a 3-roll-2 jacket roll, hook vent, and 2-button cuff on the sleeve. The trousers are usually flat-fronted, have a tapered trim cut, and have a small break. Now there are variations on this, and not every article of clothing must have all these features to be qualified as Ivy style, only some. It's time to look at the suit. It's a two-piece suit in a gray and black/brown shadow stripe pattern. There is no tag describing the material, however. I would say it's made from a medium weight wool. Fabrics back then were coarse and rough. This suit is no exception. One positive thing vintage suits have over their modern contemporaries is they have better drape. Looking at the jacket, the lapels are quite skinny at 2.5 inches, which was common for the 1960s. Here's a 1960s tie I have for reference. The lapels feature a peak, but not like the traditional peak with a little split at the gorge. Instead, it's attached. which I have seen on more modern jackets due to the lack of lapel width. This explains why there's no buttonhole in the lapel as well. The jacket features standard padding for the shoulders. The sleeves have fake buttons sewn on, but that indistinguishable classic Ivy 2-button cuff. There are 3 pockets on the front exterior with a welt breast pocket and 2 jetted pockets. Turning it around, something unusual for this decade: side vents. Side vents were very rare before the 1970s, with no vents or a single vent being much more popular and common. The interior has the GGG Clothes / Yale Genton tag on the right, and on the left there is an HC tag that I've not been able to decipher what it is. If anyone knows what this is, please let me know. The jacket is half lined, with the upper back and sleeves being lined. This means that this jacket was made with warmer seasons in mind, and the trousers will back that up. On to the trousers of the suit. The trousers are flat fronted with a top stitch above the leg opening. They have a hook closure at the waist. On the waist, there are side tabs with a unique design which I've not seen anywhere except on Gurkha trousers. They are buckles. These holes are reinforced and function the same way as normal side tabs do. There are 2 pockets on the front and 2 on the back. The left back pocket has a button with a flap to ensure it's tightened. The right back pocket, however, has this gentleman's hanky, which yes, I discovered after buying it. Very gross, but that's the price of thrifting sometimes. To date, this is my best thrift find ever. An Ivy League suit, a sartorial oddity, or more appropriately, an artifact of a bygone era in very good condition. Hopefully, I'll find another treasure to showcase soon. You too can find treasure, you just gotta know where to look.